It's 6 o'clock.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good morning, it's Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help, end the stigma. On the news this morning. RISIAC defends new local government election schedule. Rumored pre-selection of candidates for Rivers Council polls stirs concerns. Nurses at 2 PTAs join strike. On the foreign scene, Canada joins France and UK with plan to recognize Palestinian state. I'm Ifeanyi Chukwumoyile with the news. Now, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIAC, says it did not unveil a fresh timetable for the conduct of the local government elections. The commissioner, in charge of political parties' affairs, monitoring and security, Godfrey Nwoke, in an interview with newsmen, said this while responding to INEC's advice on the 90-day notice requirement to political parties. He said the commission rather relied on the old timetable issued by the former chairman of the commission, retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli.
Yeah, the issue of 90 days. Now, if you look at the INEC rules, they said 90 days must be given. I remember that 90 days was not given. That was why the election was cancelled. They made an announcement on the 5th of what? March. Right from the day they made an announcement on the 6th of March, we were assumed that 90 days had started counting. So from 5th of March till 9th of August, the 150 days is still going. Acting on the previous announcements, we have not changed. But there are some sections of the law that have been amended. But we're still acting on the previous announcement. So that amendment is still subsisting.
The RISIAC official further said almost all the registered political parties have picked the expression of interest form to participate in August 30th council poll. He said only one party has an issue. He also said the commission is not aware of factions in the APC leadership in the state.
All the parties have already complied in terms of issue of expression of interest form. It's only one party or two parties that have conflict of interest. About two persons claiming to be the party chairman, and we're saying no, I cannot issue form to two party persons. So this after I told them that they should go home to agree who is the party chairman and come back to me for any of interest form to be given. But if not, I will not be a problem where double forms will be given to one particular parties, and I say I'm going to make contact with the national body. It's only one person that represents APC, no other person. So, but if there's any contract to that, I'm not aware of that.
In the same vein, the RISIAC commissioner in charge of administration and legal matter, Professor Chidi Halliday, says the commission relied on all relevant laws before continuing from where the dissolved 6th commission started.
The 5th of March notice was given as a validly constituted RISIAC, and what they gave was 150 dates. And that date, that notice, has not been suspended by any court, has not been set aside by any court. What we are working on is the notice that had already been given to the political parties, to the stakeholders. Notice was given on 5th of March. The election is to be on the 9th of August. There is nobody that has come in the plane to suspend the 9th of August election.
The secretary to the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Benjamin Owobula, tells correspondent Yobi Oruware that political parties have expressed interest in participating in the August 30th council polls in the state.
The 5th of March.
We try to see that the commission on Monday brought their revised timetable for local government election. And today, you can see I've picked my expression of interest to contest the election. My party in particular, Teneth Labour Party, picked our expression of interest to contest the elections come 30th August 2025.
Obobula also explained some of the reasons the leadership of political parties had an emergency meeting with the commission on Wednesday.
They said it was a revised timetable. If we are to be a fresh timetable, at least 90 days would have been given. But since it's a revised timetable, so they have started from where the past administration stopped, and that's where we are starting today. The issue we met on them bordering on issue of tax clearance and other issues, because there is no time. Issue of getting tax clearance will be a difficulty. So we ask them to waive the tax clearance issue because of the time factor. So that's one major thing we talked. And we talked about some hooligans who came to claim the political parties that are not chairmen of political parties. And whosoever that the national chairman said is the chairman of the party, that's remained the chairman of the party in Rivers State.
Now, on Tuesday, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, described the recent plan by a state independent electoral commission to conduct local government elections under 21 days' notice as a violation of the law and Supreme Court judgment.
The recent announcement by a state electoral commission, which gives in effect 21 days' notice, is not only a violation of the law and the subsisting judgment of the Supreme Court, it is also a practical problem. Within 21 days, how do you expect political parties to conduct primaries, nominate candidates, organize campaign, and for the Electoral Commission to conduct voter education, recruit and train ad hoc staff, manage logistics, and organize security for the election? It's practically impossible to do that within 21 days.
Still on this, some lawyers have been speaking on the legality of the current Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission (RISIEC) to revise the timetable as released by retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli-led 6th Commission that was dissolved as it concerned the conduct of local government elections in the state. A constitutional lawyer, Innocent Ekwe, says under the law, the new RISIEC body cannot revise the timetable released by the 6th Commission since the sole administrator of the state dissolved them on the alleged grounds that they compromised their duties.
There is no way they have power or locus to do what they are doing. For instance, they cannot claim under the law that they are a continuation of the previous RISEC, because the previous RISEC was properly constituted. They are not properly constituted, so they cannot claim to be a continuation of the previous RISEC that fixed the date.
Dr. Ekwe also insisted that the new commission led by Michael Ode should have given a fresh 90-day notice to political parties expected to participate in the election.
An election law being sui generis, such election cannot stand if the constitution is applied. If the law is applied, the sole administrator felt that that RISEC was not valid and dissolved them. If the previous was illegal in their eyes and they dissolved them, then the life of this one starts from when they were appointed and inaugurated, and therefore they have to give 90 days notice. They have breached the electoral laws of Rivers State by giving 30 days notice.
But another lawyer and a Lagos-based political analyst, Liberace Oshoma, disagrees.
A new body constituted for that purpose can rectify the decisions that were taken by the previous body. Nothing nullifies the timetable. You can inherit the liabilities and the assets of a valid Rivers State electoral body. In this case, if the 90 days have been issued, if they are relying on that existing timetable with a few amendments here and there, then 90 days have been given to you prior before now. As at the time they were dissolved, can you now argue every decision they took stand nullified? The answer is no, because as at the time that they took those decisions, they were validly in office.
On his part, a Port Harcourt-based lawyer, Vincent Chukwu, described the revised timetable for the conduct of local government elections as an implementation of an alleged conspiracy against Rivers people by the presidency.
The RESEC coming with a timetable. They are implementing a script written by the authorities that be at the presidency. It is not a timetable that is meant to meet the needs or the aspirations of Rivers people. The time for the duration of the emergency period is almost at hand. So what are they doing? What kind of a timetable are they rolling out for local government election? That clearly shows that they have an agenda in Rivers State. And it is the presidency under the watch of Tinubu that is doing all this.
Meanwhile, former spokesperson of the Rivers Civil Society Organization, Solomon Leno, says the country risks continued democratic decadence if the electoral process at the local government level is not strengthened. Leno was speaking on Nigerian FM's Morning Crossfire following rumors on social media suggesting that candidates for various local government areas have already been selected ahead of the council polls.
Of course, we've seen pictures, flying around. And also, too, from those names, of course, we are going to have local government chairmen, we like it or we don't. Of course, it has been the tradition. And although it is not right, but that is what it is. That is, the position of things to our electoral process, the same thing we saw the last time.
The former RIF CSO spokesperson urged the Rivers State government to push for electoral reforms and institutions that will not always be characterized by court processes. Still to come, nurses at UPTH join strike. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says the Port Harcourt Refining Company is not for sale. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Bashir Ojulari, announced this during a town hall on Tuesday at the NNPCL Towers, Abuja. He reaffirmed the commitment of NNPCL to completing high-grade rehabilitation and retention of the plant. He stated that the position was not a shift, but rather informed by ongoing detailed technical and financial reviews of the Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri refineries. Meanwhile, leaders of the pipeline hold's ethnic nationality in the Eastern Corridor have called on the federal government to renew and expand the contract of Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, PINL. They made this call during a press briefing held in Port Harcourt in a statement read by the group's spokesperson, Famous Dawemiga. The stakeholders expressed satisfaction with the operations of PINL across various communities. They said the expansion of PINL would further resolve long-standing leadership and communal conflict in the region.
We are highly satisfied with the manner in which PIL is conducting its operations across our rail community. This has significantly reduced youth unemployment and enhanced peace and stability. We call on the President and all relevant federal agencies not to only renew PIL contract, but also expand its scope of operation. PIL has proven itself as a key partner in the acceleration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, especially in the old communities of the Eastern Corridor.
The ethnic leaders also commended PINL for its community support initiatives, particularly its monthly stakeholder engagement and inclusive community development policies. They appealed for the sustainability of these innovations in the interest of peace and development.
In 2024, PIL donated hundreds of millions of naira worth of relief materials to victims of 2022 and 2023 floods affected communities in Bayelsa and Rivers State. They also distributed Christmas food packages. Many individuals have benefited from skills acquisition programs. PIL has promptly addressed pipeline damages that would have otherwise caused environmental We all CIN to sustain and even expand on its innovation, particularly the multi-sector engagement and its inclusive community development policy.
Away from that, nurses and midwives in the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital have joined the 7-day nationwide strike by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. The nurses began the warning strike on Wednesday, despite appeals by the federal government. Speaking with correspondent Martha Okere, the chairman of the association at UPTH, Madonna Winchendu, said the strike may affect patients on admission and others may be transferred to private hospitals.
They are self-centered. They do not prioritize things, especially health. Just imagine what played out a few hours ago. Yes, our female footballers made the country proud, but we never knew that kind of money is in this country. Meanwhile, the people within and around them are dying, even with adult malnutrition. The government should ensure they prioritize health. They prioritize the life of the common man. That was why they were voted into power, or why some of them took the power by force. Those that are working should have something close to living wages or proper living wages.
Our correspondent who visited UPTH on Wednesday spoke to some patients who shared their concerns over the ongoing strike by nurses in Nigeria. In an interview, they complained about waiting for hours without receiving medical attention due to the absence of nurses. Some of them urged the government to meet the demands of the striking nurses.
I don't like it because when somebody has problem, they will say the nurses is on strike. It's not good. We are here since.
There's a lot of people here now today hanging around. They need attendance and nobody's attending to them. So please, they should meet up to their need and call off the strike for the sake of everybody.
Because we need them for a lot of things. And in their absence now, many things will not be going well. Patients that underwent surgery now, after the procedure, it's the nurses that check up, administer drugs and some other things. So it's not helpful.
Even a politician, a councillor that has not even a WAEC certificate is earning more than nurses. It's uncalled for. It's very unusual. So we should think of how to balance the society, balance the system. So it's justifiable that they should go on strike, although I don't know the demands. But I think government should be able to meet up their demands.
Responding, the chairman, Medical Advisory Committee UPTH, Datoye Alasia, said the nurses' strike will affect the scope of services the hospital can offer, but its strike response protocol has been activated.
Today, the first step we have taken is to ensure that, in spite of the strike, the nursing administrators are available to ensure that they ensure proper handover of patients, access to facilities and all that. And then we can now do what we call shifting some responsibilities from one group of staff to the other to try to mitigate. And of course, we do assessment every day where we feel that we cannot cope. We can transit those patients to other facilities where nurses are available. Those that we can cope with, we also keep them. So it's something that we manage.
As you may know, the nurses' demands include the upward review of shift allowance, adjustment of uniform allowance, implementation of a separate salary structure for nurses, increased core duty allowance, mass employment of nurses, and the creation of a dedicated nursing department in the Federal Ministry of Health. The Minister of Labour, Muhammadu Dingyadi, has urged striking nurses to end their walkout and return to talks. But despite a meeting with the minister, the nurses insist the strike continues. Talks are expected to resume Friday. In another development, in a bid to bridge the healthcare gap for underserved populations, the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTH, has rolled out a premium healthcare initiative offering 20 free surgeries over a 2-week period. Highlighting the significance of the initiative, the Chief Operating Officer, Johnny Osifo, explained that 10 of the surgeries are designated for women with fibroid conditions, while the other 10 are for prostate-related cases.
The surgical enrich is a special medical initiative targeted at delivering 20 free surgeries, specifically to 10 fibroid and 10 prostate-related conditions, to individuals who have been carefully screened and selected based on one need, urgency, and readiness for surgery. These procedures, while common, remain unaffordable for many Nigerians due to rising medical costs and limited access to specialized surgical services.
Osifo emphasized the growing need for accessible healthcare and called for increased partnership and collaboration from stakeholders to sustain and expand such effort. Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Director of UPTH, Professor Henry Uboma, represented by the Chairman of the Medical Advisory Committee, Professor Datonye Alasia, said the InReach is designed to cater to critical cases that are often missed during routine medical outreaches, especially major surgical procedures.
And that's why we are happy that this InReach is taking place, and it's actually addressing two key conditions. Most times when we go for a medical outreach, we may not be able to have surgeries that require what we call major surgeries, because that would need more specialized people, a big theater, general anesthesia. And we find that uterine fibroids and prostate diseases requiring surgery are a lot of things that people who come for those outreaches present with, and they end up getting referred. So, and that was why I believe that these two conditions have been chosen for this InReach.
Our correspondent reports that the InReach program began on July 28 and will run through August 8 to 2025, offering much-needed relief to selected beneficiaries.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, says Canada plans to recognize a Palestinian state in September, becoming the third G7 nation to make such an announcement in recent days. Carney said the move depends on democratic reforms, including the Palestinian Authority holding elections next year without Hamas. His remarks come a day after the UK announced it would recognize a Palestinian state in September unless Israel agreed to a ceasefire and other conditions, and a week after France unveiled a similar plan.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard RISIEC has defended its new local government election schedule, saying it's a continuation of the old schedule and not a fresh one. The rumored pre-selection of candidates for Rivers Council polls has stirred concerns. Nurses at the UPTH have joined the strike. On the foreign scene, Canada has joined France and the UK with plans to recognize a Palestinian state. The news was edited by Chioma Ezewafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.
I get a good feeling, yeah.